Hi everyone, Rich here from Backup again. Just moving on from the video that we did earlier about pushing forwards, I wanted to touch on pushing backwards and why this is important. So for us as wheelchair users, we might be in certain situations out in the community where we might not have space to turn. For example, this could be things like small convenience stores. For example, they might have quite tight aisles and you can't turn at the bottom of them. So it's important to learn how to push backwards in our wheelchair and maneuver backwards. There's a couple of key things that we need to remember with this skill, chief of which is your safety. So obviously, because we're going to be moving in a backwards direction, we've not got a full field of vision. So it's important to remember to be aware of your surroundings at all times, to look over your shoulders if you can. If you don't have so much function, kind of ability to turn with your neck and shoulders, there's other ways that we can get around this. It might be rolling back a little bit, stopping, turning 90 degrees on, having a look at the area that you're rolling into, resetting your position, and then continuing on backwards. As I say, it might be looking over the shoulders. It might even be looking through this space here, so looking underneath your arm to see what's behind you. So the important things to remember are keeping your weight ever so slightly forward, more so than when we were doing the previous pushing forward skill. That could be as there is a number of obstacles out in the community. So with these obstacles, there's always a risk that you might kind of catch a push rim or roll your tire into some of them. So you want to keep your weight a little bit further forward, just in case you do hit into an object. Obviously, with your weight, it's going to maybe lift the front caster wheels up off the ground, and that's something we want to avoid. So it's important to keep all four wheels on the ground, so your weight forward is chief for that. And as I've said already, the safety is paramount. Other than that, it's exactly the same skill, just in reverse from the pushing forward skill. So how that kind of looks is, so we'll be starting with our hands in what was the finishing position for the previous skill, and then we'll be pulling this time the push rim. Rather than pushing, we'll be pulling the push rim through to the point where we started before. Okay, so as I mentioned already, we want to keep that weight rather than central, just ever so slightly forwards this time. So as we pull backwards, hands will come round, then at the end take our hands off, reset to the front, and reset to the front. Remember to look behind you at all times. As I've mentioned, if you're having trouble looking over your shoulders, you can also look underneath each arm. That's easier. Sometimes going in a snaking movement in the wheelchair makes this easier. And again, third and finally, if you've really not got, if you kind of got fused metal work in your neck there or your back and you can't twist at all, it might be worth going backwards ever so slightly, turning 90 degrees on, having a look at what's into the area that you're going into, resetting your position, and then wheeling backwards. Okay, again, having another little look, and wheeling backwards. And again, looking over the shoulders. You come nice and slow, nice and controlled. All the way around. Excellent. So as I've said, kind of the key points for this is making sure that you're being safe and aware of your surroundings at all times. Taking it slow and steady, not going 100 miles an hour when you're reversing backwards, As I've said, if you're going very fast and you try to apply pressure to the push rims to slow yourself down, if you apply too much pressure too quickly, the front caster wheels can come up off the ground. So, for example, if I'm going backwards and just grab the push rims, my caster wheels come up off the ground there. So we want to make sure that when we're stopping, going backwards, that it's a nice, slow, gentle pressure on the push rims there. Okay, keeping that weight forward. So just slowing down like so. Then resetting your body position upwards. Alright? And that in a nutshell is pushing backwards. So I'll do a few more videos this afternoon and hopefully you can join us for those. Excellent. Thank you so much again, guys. Thanks for watching.